Now, a former official to the Rwandan government has warned British aid money is bankrolling an unaccountable regime accused of war crimes. David Himbara, former private secretary to President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, told Channel 4's Dispatches programme that Britain is to blame for sustaining a bad regime. Rwanda's support for rebels fighting a war in neighbouring Congo was documented in a United Nations report last week. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Jonathan Miller reports.
Chaos comes in waves in Congo. Crisis follows crisis, war after war. As rebel armies backed by foreign powers take turns to pillage and plunder its mineral riches. A United Nations report published just last week says the militia behind the recent mayhem in the east is led by a war crime suspect and financed, armed and reinforced by neighbouring Rwanda.
The government forces have fled. They've all gone. The rebels are here. We know them because they've got Rwandan features.
The allegations of Rwandan warmongering in Congo have focused a spotlight on British aid to Rwanda, worth more than £250 million over the next 3 years. In Europe and America, President Paul Kagame is hailed as a reformist visionary. David Cameron says it's only right that Britain should be investing in Africa's new rising star. But investing in Rwanda's success has meant turning a blind eye to Mr. Kagame's increasingly authoritarian style of governance, where human rights abuse is rife, where assassination, intimidation, disappearance and torture are tools of the state, and where, as one international human rights group has put it, it's safer for dissident voices just to stay silent. Some flee into exile, like the president's former right-hand man. He's been warned that he's on a hit list. Since 2010, several dissidents have been assassinated abroad. There have even been 2 attempts here in Britain.
United Kingdom's aid to Rwanda is misplaced. It's wrong. It cannot be justified. Britain is not funding Rwanda. It's funding a dictator. It's sustaining a bad regime by any measure.
The Rwandan government claims British aid has helped lift 1 million people out of poverty in 5 years. This is one of Rwanda's 3 opposition party leaders. The other 2 are in jail. And Frank Habanese's deputy was found decapitated just before the last presidential election 2 years ago. Should the British taxpayer be happy that aid money is being well spent in this country?
The British taxpayer should only be happy if his money is spent when there is democracy flourishing in this country. If we don't have freedoms, if we don't have democracy, there is a risk to have like another Zimbabwe.
Britain's aid relationship with Rwanda is governed by this document, which says that if Rwanda fails to respect human rights or fails to promote peace and stability in the region, Britain can, in extreme circumstances, cut off aid. Do you believe that Rwanda has fully complied with the commitments made in the Memorandum of Understanding with Britain?
No question about it. Rwanda has complied 100%.
Human rights?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Peace and stability in the region?
Everything. Human rights, peace and security.
Why do human rights groups completely disagree with you? Why does the British government
It is their
even
job.
say that
It is the job of human rights
concern?
groups to disagree with us.
The minister said Rwanda had come a long way since the genocide 18 years ago. But it was chasing the killers as they fled into Congo that first led to Rwanda's involvement there. The frontier town of Kinigi is, the UN says, the command centre for the Rwandan military on the border. UN investigators have in the past said they had overwhelming evidence that the Rwandan armed forces were directly assisting the rebels in Congo, sending in guns and recruits. Now, though, there's new evidence, even more damning, naming Rwanda's defence minister as the coordinator of rebel military operations inside Congo. Rwanda vehemently denies this, but the allegations go even further, that Rwandan forces have directly engaged in combat in support of the rebels. Are Rwandan forces in Congo?
No.
But the UN Security Council, group of experts, 3 foreign embassies in Kigali, several human rights groups, they all say Rwandan forces are in Congo.
Absolutely false. First of all, the UN Group of Experts report is trash. The report is not credible, it's wrong, based on a flawed methodology. The evidence is not there.
500,000 people have now been displaced by the fighting in Congo. Britain says evidence of Rwandan involvement is credible and that this will influence future decisions on aid. The next of those is next month. The Minister for International Development wouldn't be drawn on what Britain will do.
More on that on our website, and Jonathan Miller's full report on where British aid money goes on Dispatches here on Channel 4, 8 p.m. tomorrow night.